I'm Dr. Phil Botham. I'm Principal Science Advisor for Syngenta Product Safety. I used to be the Global Head of Product Safety for the company, and I also used to be the leader of the research program that we were conducting looking at the alleged link between Paraquat and Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a disease of the brain. Cells in a certain region of the brain die, and as a consequence, those brain cells are no longer able to provide the appropriate signals for muscle function. There has been a lot of research about the potential for a number of environmental chemicals to be causative agents in Parkinson's disease. When it comes to pesticides, Paraquat has been the subject of research for 30 or 40 years or more now, where people have alleged that there may be an association. Syngenta started to look at these allegations back in the 1980s and 1990s, where we started to monitor the health of people who've been spraying Paraquat, where we looked at their neurological function and we did full medical investigations, and there was absolutely no evidence after they'd been spraying Paraquat for quite a considerable number of years that they were in any sense developing effects suggestive of Parkinson's disease. We've also looked at our own manufacturing workforce in the 1980s and 1990s when people were exposed to Paraquat during the manufacturing process. We've looked at that population twice over the last 10 years and seen no increased risk or incidence of Parkinson's disease in those manufacturing workers. We've also looked at a group of people who unfortunately were poisoned by Paraquat ingestion, and there is no evidence in those individuals either of Parkinsonian-like symptoms. There has been a lot of independent research on looking at this link between Paraquat and Parkinson's disease. One of the most important is a long-term study of over 65,000 farmers and growers in North America, in North Carolina and Iowa. It's a study called the Agricultural Health Workers Study, sponsored by, amongst others, the United States government. And they published their latest paper on this group of farmers and growers who had been using Paraquat 20 or 30 years ago. It has now shown very clearly that there is no link at all, no increased risk in that very large population that's been monitored for decades. In addition, in 2021, an independent scientist in the United States, Dr. Douglas Weed, published a paper where he had reviewed all of the epidemiological studies that had been done on Paraquat and Parkinson's disease across the world since 2006, and concluded that the consensus of all those studies was that there is no causative link between exposure to Paraquat and Parkinson's disease. Regulatory authorities, of course, have had a look at this evidence, and one of the most recent and most powerful conclusions has been drawn actually by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, which is really one of the most rigorous science-based regulatory authorities in the world. In 2019, they published their findings, which said that in their view there was insufficient evidence to link Paraquat exposure to the development of Parkinson's disease. I absolutely agree that Paraquat is safe for farmers and growers to use. There is no causative link at all between Paraquat exposure and Parkinson's disease.